I am just driving around the north side of Chicago. At the end of my last video, I had a pregnant woman asking if you wanted to be my baby's daddy. In my past, I had 2 women ask me this question directly. Their exact words were, "Do you want to be my baby's daddy, and I'm looking for a baby daddy." These women were 100% serious. The first time I was asked this question, I was shocked and surprised. I felt sorry for the girl, but later, when other men told me their stories, I began to understand what was going on. I had a friend named Mike. His ex-girlfriend also asked him his question, and I met other men who were also asked his question. Plus, in some places in the United States, it was common for men to meet a girl, who is basically homeless, and on the same day they met the girl, allow the girl to come and live with them. Most of the time, the girl has no job and will not look for work. At the time, I thought this was crazy. How could you allow some girl, who you just met, to move in with you? You know nothing about the girl. You know nothing about her past. You do not know if she has any mental or emotional issues. Plus, I want to say that this does not happen in the black community. This is a white community thing. In my last video, I told you about my cousin Marcel, who allowed 2 girls, who he also met on the streets, to come and live with him. However, I forgot to say that these were white girls. So let me start at the beginning. In the early 2000s, I lived in Arizona. I had a job and I carpooled to work. I would meet the carpool at the gas station on the corner next to my apartment building. Every afternoon there was a girl standing in front of the doors at the gas station. She looked like she was in her early 20s. She looked 8 to 9 months pregnant. One day before the carpool arrived, I walked into the gas station store and purchased some water. On my way out she asked me if I wanted to be her baby's daddy. I was surprised and shocked. I thought she was joking. I said no and kept walking. However, every day she asked any man that looked at her this question. I felt sorry for the girl. I thought at the time she was probably homeless, thus desperate. So I gave her some money when I could. In my last video, I told you about Mike and his ex-girlfriend named Jackie. Jackie left Mike for another man. This man did not work out, so she went back to Oregon. From talking to Mike, he told me that some women in Oregon go from man to man and none of these types of women ever work or ever had a job. This was their lifestyle. This is what Jackie's mother used to do and this is what Jackie does. Thus, these women are basically homeless, but they always find some man to take care of them. So during the 2 years after Mike and Jackie ended their relationship, she lived with 3 other men. Jackie wrote Mike a letter asking Mike if he wanted to be her baby's daddy. Mike said no. Jackie gave away the baby for adoption. However, a few years later, out of the blue, Jackie showed up at Mike's door carrying her new baby. Jackie came in and started cleaning Mike's apartment and looked in the kitchen for something to cook for Mike. Mike then kicked her out and told her not to come back. How Jackie and Mike's relationship ended was by Mike waking up one morning and discovering that Jackie with all her stuff was gone. While I was living in Arizona, I got a better job. While I was working there was a girl who told us men, that she just had her baby. The father was not around. Plus, she was looking for a baby daddy. Some days she would stare at me hard and smile. One day, I had to get a new alternator for my car. I could have installed it myself, but I found a car shop that would do it for $40. While I was waiting for my car there was a girl in her early 20s waiting for her car. It was not her car but the car of a man she was living with. However, she made sure not to call him her boyfriend. She had just ended a relationship with another man she was living with and moved in with this new man, which was a friend of the other man. I told her I had moved to Arizona a few years ago, and I lived down the street. So basically, without realizing, I gave her all the information she needed. She now knew I had my own apartment, a car and a job. Then during our conversation, she got very close to me and told me more of her story. Then she told me she had no children. She worked at a fast food place, and she liked it because during her break, she could go in the back and smoke marijuana. She also said she dropped out of high school because she did not like it. Plus, because it ended badly with her last boyfriend is why she was carrying a gun. Thus, a lot of red flags. When I was about to leave and without me asking for her phone number, she made sure I had her phone number. I never called. I might be crazy, but I am not that crazy. I met other women in Arizona who also let me know they wanted to come and live with me. None of these women were black, Asian, or Mexican. They all were white girls. Thus, the United States is filled with many different subcultures. The black women I dated in Chicago are different than the black women I dated in Washington, D.C. Likewise, the women in Chicago and Washington, D.C. are different than the women I dated from New York, Boston, Arkansas or California. This is why I am not red pill or any of this stuff. I know if I meet women who are full of self, delusional or immature, I just have to go to a different part of the United States, and there will be different types of women. However, I asked myself, how can these women go from man to man? How can these women think that a man will allow them to live with him within the first day of the meeting? These types of women, like most women, know that many men want a steady girlfriend. They know that there are a lot of lonely, desperate men. So if one man does not work out, there are plenty more. They also know that most of these men are nice guys. Plus, they know how to call the police. So the risk to their safety is low. For example, Jackie was living with one man, and while he was at work, she went on a date with another man. She came home a little drunk, and her shirt was not on correctly on her body. He got upset and angry, so Jackie called the police. It was the man's apartment, and Jackie had only been staying with him for about 2 weeks. The police told the man that he had to leave his apartment for 24 hours, and then Jackie had to move out. However, what many people do not know is that the law says that if Jackie were receiving mail at the apartment, then the man would not have been able to kick Jackie out of his apartment. Thus, these women know the law, and they know they can always find a nice guy who is lonely that will take care of them. Thank you for watching. Please click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this video.